let's have a look at dealing with GST. So GST in New Zealand is 15%. So GST is a goods and service tax. So if I go to the dairy, for example, and I buy something and I get a little receipt, then on that receipt it will have my total amount, that is the amount that I pay. So say I bought a can of Coke, it will tell me the total amount, that was $2. Before, just above that, it will have the GST and it will have the original amount. Okay, and so it'll have two different prices here that add together to give the $2 that I pay. So the GST portion of that, that's the amount that goes to the government or the tax department, and that money gets used for a variety of things, including helping start up new businesses and all sorts of things. So anything we buy, any objects we buy, or any services that we buy, so going and getting a massage is a service, going and getting a manicure is a service, we pay for people's time, okay, and we're paying GST through that. So there are two types of words we need to talk about, GST inclusive and the GST exclusive price. So the inclusive means it is including the GST in it. So that is this $2 here. That is my GST inclusive amount. The GST exclusive, that is the amount at the beginning before GST is added. And that is how much the person in the business gets. Okay? So because GST is 15%, I can think about it in terms of if I buy something, I'm paying the person 100% of the product plus another 15% on top. So I am paying them 115%. Okay? If I turn that into a decimal, so divide that to 115 divided by 100, then that gives me 1.15. And that's where I get this 1.15 from down here. So if I want to add GST onto a product, so if I know that the product, the amount that the person in the business would get is $5, how much do I have to sell it? So I need to add the GST into it. Then I'm going to multiply that price by 1.15. If I know what the final amount is, so I know my can of Coke is worth $2, I might want to find out, well, what's the price before GST is added? So what's the price that the shopkeeper would earn from it? Then I'm going to divide by 1.15. So for example, I want to add GST to $200. All right, so I'm going to take that amount of $200 and I need to multiply that by 1.15. And that gives me $230. So that tells me that the GST portion of it is $30. The original amount is $200, and the GST inclusive price is $230. Second example here, a plane ticket costs $400 plus GST. What's the GST inclusive price? So I want to find out how much it is. So I'm going to pay $400 plus I've got to pay my GST on top, so times 1.15, and that gives me a cost of $460. And so then I need to write this as a sentence answer, and so I'm going to say the GST inclusive price is $460. If I'm told the plane ticket, which was already including the GST, is $400, and I want to find the GST exclusive price, so I want to find out how much the business gets. So when I pay $400, how much of that money does the business get after they've paid their GST? So I'm going to take my $400 and I'm going to divide by 1.15. And that gives me $347.83. So that means the difference between the 400 and this amount, that's how much they would pay in GST, and this is the amount that the business themselves get. Okay, so then I would write a sentence to say that GST exclusive price is $347.83.